This episode of the Citation Needed podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
What goals did you set for 2025? If better sleep is one, Symbiotica's magnesium L-threonate helps you wake up refreshed. For gut health, their glutathione supports digestion and reduces bloating. Symbiotica is one of the most transparent brands out there, never compromising on quality or sourcing. Their products are free from seed oils, preservatives, toxins, and artificial additives, something you can taste and feel in every packet. Go to Symbiotica.com and use code IHEART for 20% off and free shipping. That's Symbiotica.com, code IHEART.
Okay, everybody off the bus.
Oh my God, what is this place?
Isn't it great?
Oh, it's like the opposite of all those things.
Well, okay, guys, I was thinking, at the rate we're going, we're going to hit our Patreon goal to all live in the same place and record together really soon. And Centralia, Pennsylvania has something for everyone.
What? Is the ground on fire?
Everybody jumps right to that. Okay, hear me out. The land here is super cheap. Lots of open space for Cecil to go jogging. Lots of rubble for Tom to lift up and put back down again. But the best part is, I never need a smoke break again. All I got to do is step outside, inhale a couple of times, open a window, whatever. I save a fortune.
I mean, okay, but what about me and Heath?
Well,
Yeah.
Heath, you know how you love barbecue?
I do.
Okay,
I do.
literally any piece of meat you set on the ground for long enough, it's smoked.
Okay, I'm in. It's not bad.
That sounds pretty good to me, actually.
I'm kind of upset that I was defined by jogging.
Okay, guys, wait, that still leaves me out.
Oh, gee, Eli, I guess you're right. I mean, all you'd be doing is living here with your best friends. But if you don't want to stay, if you want us to give your room to somebody...
Best friends.
I thought so.
My eyes are itchy.
Yeah, you get used to that.
Do you? Do you really?
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article on Wikipedia about it, and pretend we're experts. Because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. My name's Cecil, and I'll be ineffectively trying to keep this show on topic this week, but I have 4 people working against me. First, make some noise for 2 guys banned from every food challenge in the United States, Heath and Tom.
I tried to take Gwyneth Paltrow's Snap Challenge, but I got hungry in the car on the way to the store, and I ate all the food stamps. So I didn't even get to try it. The glue is tasty.
I have Guy Fieri buried in my backyard. We're confessing things, right?
You don't even have a backyard. Whose yard is he in?
He's just got 42% of a backyard.
Don't worry about the details, Cecil.
And also joining us tonight, give it up for 2 gentlemen for whom every meal is a challenge, Eli and Noah.
Is warm ice so much to ask? I don't think it's that much.
Yes.
To be fair, I'm fine until they start putting ingredients on it.
All right, well, I'm sure everybody's excited to get going, but before we do, I want to offer up a huge thanks to all the listeners who keep this show going through their financial contributions. Without you, this wouldn't be a podcast. It'd be a mental illness. If you'd like to learn how to join the patrons ranks, be sure to stick around until the end of the show. Okay, with those asses deservedly and thoroughly kissed, tell us, Heath, what person, place, thing, phenomenon, or event will we be discussing today?
Today we'll be talking about Centralia, Pennsylvania.
And Eli, you were last week's least favorite person, so you have the responsibility of reading the Wikipedia article in question. Are you ready to drop some knowledge on us?
Oh, I am, Cecil. Poor people are gross.
I meant about Centralia, Pennsylvania.
Okay, well, the people there are poor. and gross. Didn't mention that in the Wikipedia article.
Stop.
Boom.
What?
Adding.
We need to stop him.
Next level.
No.
I see. And is there anything else you can tell us about it other than the people there are gross?
Sure. I just didn't want to bury the lead.
According to your wife, dude, you've never buried anything.
And speaking of burials, according to the insurance actuarial, she'll have to start shopping for a black dress soon, too.
I actually think she's going to wear whatever the capoeira instructor she's banging thinks she looks nice in. I haven't asked, but if I were to guess.
So she's going naked.
Yeah.
That's good.
Whatever Jaji
good.
thinks she looks like a swan in. Anyway, Centralia, Pennsylvania is a lovely little hamlet tucked away in the pristine forests of central Pennsylvania. It's Pennsylvania's least populated municipality, a distinction it maintains through a combination of measured growth, inconvenient access to the nearby Walmart distribution center, and having been on fire for the last 45 years.
That sounds... Wait, what?
Yeah, nowhere near the Walmart. Like, way out of the way. You got the side roads.
No, the on fire part.
On fire.
Yeah. Is the whole town a volcano layer for supervillains? Because I am willing to relocate.
Secret layer, Tom? Now I have to move.
Rude, Tom. Rude. So our actual story begins before that, in 1856, when Noah was a mere 45-year-old man, when Centralia got its first coal mines. The coal deposits were known about for a while, but lack of nearby railroad and plenty of more accessible reserves left them overlooked. But in a lesson we've been failing to uptake since the 1850s, apparently, they started running out of coal and had to find more of it.
But did they just check their drinking water? That's where it's at now, right?
I don't care. From the bottom of my heart, I don't care. Now, like a lot of mining towns in mid-19th century Pennsylvania, Centralia was a peaceful place where the mine took really great care of its workers, gave them reasonable shifts in safe working conditions, and the town founder hardly ever got murdered by bandits.
And you can get a chicken egg with a toy in it for $0.25.
Call sideways!
We could be great like that again, y'all. We are on our way.
It's as if 70,000 coal miners' voices cried out, and then were suddenly silenced.
I miss the good old days, when you could trust the man.
Indeed.
Your best interest and heart.
Now, long before the fire broke out, the town was already in decline. It was hard hit in World War I and harder hit in the Great Depression, so a lot of the mines closed down. However, this didn't stop poor people from occasionally going into them to get coal, because if there's two things poor people like, it's to be dirty and eat their ice cream flavors all mixed together like a KFC famous dessert bowl. What's the fucking matter with you? Oh, I love strawberry and vanilla. It's my favorite.
Ridiculous. You obviously scoop across. Whatever. I think we can all agree, though, that mint chocolate chip is the best ice cream flavor and that Palestine should get all their land back. Moving on.
I don't agree.
Moving on.
Can we all just agree on that, Heath? Really? All of us? Because mint chocolate chip is basically a crunchy toothpaste dessert reserved exclusively for Amish kids on Rumspringa who don't know any better.
Wait, mint chocolate chip is made of meth?
Oh, then I do agree with Heath.
All right, good. Okay, so we can all agree that Palestine should get all their land back. Moving on.
I mean, are they open to trading their land for ice cream? Cecil, you have a beard.
I do, but you have a better last name, so you should go.
I mean, so far, they haven't been cooperating with the Rosenbergs. So one particularly dangerous method of this quote-unquote guerrilla mining,
They call that poaching in Africa.
or a zoo in Cincinnati.
Oh, shit.
No, this was a thing called pillar robbing. You see, when you mine coal, poor people, listen up, you have to leave some of the coal there as pillars to hold the rest of the mine up. But this mostly matters if you plan on getting more coal out and not being crushed to death by a vault of rocky earth. So again, the Centralians would just come, knock down the pillars because they were right fucking there, grab what they could, and then run away.
It's like distracting an abortion doctor by chopping a baby's head off. It's not a great idea.
I mean, any port in a storm when you're in need of an object for hot potato.
Yeah, I thought you brought the hack.
Fun fact, that game is called The Cops Are Coming. Look, needless to say, this pillar robbing led to a lot of idle mines collapsing.
Yeah, I feel like this is a problem that just solves itself pretty quickly, though, right? Like, seriously, like the first time. It's like eating your own gingerbread house. Like, always a bad idea. The fuck? Where am I going to live now?
So now, spoiler alert, this pillar robbing, among other things, would make it way harder to deal with a mine fire if one broke out. After all, if you're trying to like seal off certain mine shafts, it's helpful if the way in and out of them hasn't collapsed. It's a whole key thing. Yeah.
Huh. Weird.
Yeah, but look, I'm getting this distinct feeling that they're doing a terrible job of sealing things off. If people are still breaking in and stealing the fucking floor joists or whatever. I mean, fuck, buy a padlock.
Okay, I know this is super interesting, but we were on sort of the track for mine fires. And as much as we love the plight of the downtrodden, the turn of the century coal miners, it seems like the actual interesting part is the mine fire.
Okay, speak for yourself, Cecil, not for the podcast. As to the fire itself, since you were pushing mood, it began in May of 1962, but analysts disagree on the cause and even the day it started. While local legends suggest that it began from a fire that had been smoldering for 30 years before then, few people take that seriously anymore. Writer David DeCock, whose last name is DeCock, even though it's entirely legal to change your name in this country.
Why would you change your name if your name was DeCock?
Yeah, right.
I don't understand at all.
Hold on, honey. DeCock's coming over.
I feel like I'm changing my name to DeCock.
I'd want it to be De La Cock, like of the cock. I'd want a definite article, you know? I feel like that'd be important.
Well, anyways, that gentleman suggests the fire started on May 27th when some firefighters decided to clean up a nearby landfill by lighting the trash on fire. It seems like a likely culprit, is what I'm saying.
Wait. This is a mystery? You think that giant bonfire that was going on exactly where the fire started has anything to do with it? Let's not jump to conclusions, Cletus. Could have been a drunk guy 30 years ago. You don't know. You ain't got no way of knowing.
We're just burning this giant pile of Ray Bradbury books, the entrance to a labyrinth of solid gasoline like we always do. I don't think that was it. Maybe it was like a zebra smoking a cigarette. It's a lot of possibilities.
It'd be weird if that zebra smoked camels.
Who do you call when firefighters start the fire? Like, who shows up? Like fighters? I don't.
Pussy fart, AIDS, kike AIDS. Sorry, we were turning into wait, don't tell me. I just had to bring us back a little bit.
An incredibly successful podcast.
I will not be humor for baby boomers to chuckle at in their Priuses.
I will for the paycheck.
Yeah, no shit.
So here's the thing. Writer Joan Quigley says the fire had actually started the day before when a trash dumper dropped some hot ash into the open trash pit. But that story requires that the firefighters went to a dump that was already on fire and then set it on fire to burn off some of the trash, which I can't emphasize enough in this story is already on fire. So that story seems weird.
You know how, like, when something's really bad, you say that's a garbage fire. Yeah, maybe the thing to do is to avoid creating actual fucking garbage fires.
So Eli, we do know that they set the dump on fire.
Well, okay, let's be skeptics here. We know that the dump caught fire, and we know that in minutes from a meeting the night before, the town talked about how they needed to clean up that dump before Memorial Day. Now, I want to point out, the minutes don't specify how they plan to do that, but since setting dumps on fire was illegal, many people speculate they left out the method on purpose, that they... You know, because those pokey sticks slower than fire.
Yeah, again, I'm just going to have to point out that sometimes some of this shit is just your fault, right?
Right.
Like, when did lighting a fucking town dump go well? Like, have you ever heard, man, so glad about that garbage fire, solved so many of our problems.
I'm just going to say you haven't cleaned up after Eli's indiscretions as often as some of us, Tom. Occasionally.
This is
what
why
needs to
my
be
wife
done.
says I don't bury things.
Like the torches in Aliens. We have a lot of weird stuff to do after Eli goes places.
Okay, all right. So, but this isn't 1862. By 1962, Weren't there regulations against setting giant fires around flammable strip mines?
You'd hope so.
I'd say less of regulations and more helpful tips on not starting a century-long ecological disaster. Like a poster with a cartoon on it.
Sooty the bear.
No, it's Sooty the canary.
So I'll give you an example. The town had been ordered to install fire-resistant clay barriers between each layer of the landfill, but they fell behind, and that trash was in a really good need of a burning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Am I the only one here wondering how you define a layer in a landfill? Because
Nope. Great question, Tom.
Who's the one who decides, yeah, that's a right amount of garbage that can be on fire? We don't want more than that.
Also, I feel like if we knew about fireproof clay barriers, maybe use them in the mines. Why would you be doing this in the... What? Hey, if you were thinking about lighting yourself on fire and riding your bike into a coal mine, here's an asbestos helmet. Like, what the fuck stupid invention is that?
Wait. I thought we weren't advertising me and Heath's asbestos helmets on the show. I thought there was a whole...
Snuck it in.
All right, so what happened?
Oh, asbestos turns out to be super bad for you, and Andrew threw a fit. It was a whole thing.
With
He
the
started
mine.
speaking Spanish. Oh, Spanish. Uncurious about your best friend's life. Anyway, well, eventually, hot embers from the garbage pit penetrated the vein of coal underneath the pit
Caliente.
and started the subterranean fire that's still burning today. Firefighters doused it pretty good that night.
Wait. The same firefighters who probably maybe started the fire. Those are the guys.
They were nearby. They were nearby when it started. That's
Mesothelioma.
I don't know.
But they didn't see any visible embers. But then it flared up again a couple days later.
Like these
and
things
then
do.
About a week after that.
Unless you get a shot, then it doesn't flare up like that.
Right. They should have tried some Preparation H. I've seen the commercial.
Absolutely.
Like, what's the tux pad? The tux pad. They just come on, zip it off.
Don't wear condoms. So when repeatedly dousing it didn't do the trick, they started bulldozing the top layer of the garbage that was on fire and then hosing down the lower garbage. All of this was done by adults. Eventually, as they're digging around on the garbage that's on fire, they discover a hole in their garbage dump, that has collapsed into the mine, which, hey, if you're not following along, probably would have allowed the fire to spread to the coal. Was the big hole of fire in their garbage dump.
Wow, again, it's almost as if starting garbage fires is just a bad idea. Just
Now,
don't want 'em.
Cletus, I said we don't need to jump to any conclusions. Now that hole might have had none of that. That coal might have already been on fire.
It becomes clear after they bulldoze enough of the flaming garbage away to see the giant suck hole of fire leading to their mine. Hey, we're probably not going to hose their way out of this problem. So the city council brings in some experts on fighting coal fires, and they set about the effort of trying to evacuate all the on fire parts, right? Now, initial estimates of the cleanup cost from engineers, $175. Needless to say, the less money than you make by passing go and Monopoly plan turned out not to work. That's why we did this show.
I have a feeling that's a proposal that opens up with the words, no, but my cousin Ricky now.
Yeah, it ended up with the words, or we could just do nothing and the problem just sort of works itself out in payroll. Right?
Spoiler.
Well, what do you think of just getting the estimate would exceed the cost of the estimate?
Right.
It cost me that much to change out a toilet. What kind of discount Walmart brand coal fire experts are these?
You're changing out toilets? What's happening in your life?
I don't have a squatty potty.
The
A lot
man
of
does not
protein.
have a one setting. It's just everything. It's just like he throws a right hook into his toilet every morning. Just
Are they breaking or what's happening? Like physically breaking apart?
He's training for the speed shitting competition. That breaks them all every time.
You guys a new one every 6 months. Like when you get right? Right? No, that's just.
It's 6 months or 3,000 miles.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, plus like it's a wear and tear issue, right? Like how hard to drive that thing. You know, I put a lot of miles on. I'm just saying.
The plumber comes in, looks at the sides of it off. He's like, you know what? The side of that thing's off. Rookie mistake. I can understand.
I just bulldoze my outhouse once every 3 months.
Tom just has a pit crew show up like NASCAR and fix his toilet every 2 days.
I was setting it all on fire, but now I'm going to have to change that course of action.
With an ass like Centralia, Pennsylvania.
Tom is some plumber's favorite convention story. Just like, hear me out. Every 6 months, this guy calls me. You ever see the villains from the Mario Brothers? He looks like that, but jacked. Like they were facing towards you the whole time, and then they stood up and they had just like Arnold Schwarzenegger's body, but 1970s Arnold Schwarzenegger when he's all, when they just aren't testing for it yet. All right, so now the town, again, we're on fire. So the town has to send a letter to the Lehigh Valley Coal Company to let them know, hey, we accidentally set all your shit on fire, which is a hard letter to write. I've been there. I'll be there again, Heath. But they figure nobody needs to know the truth about how it started, so in the letter they call it a fire, quote, of unknown origin during a period of unusually hot weather, end quote.
Well, it was on fire. Of course it's unusually hot.
Citation needed, bracket.
Oh,
Entirely plausible. Coal starts to combust around 800 degrees Fahrenheit, so totally feasible that a warm spell caused it. Was it an El Nino year, perhaps?
Hey, why is the arsonist got to be Mexico?
They all are.
Calvin Vente. That's the thing, right?
No, no.
That's our catchphrase? No. They call in the big guns. The estimate of the cost skyrockets from the original $175 to $30,000. And they require a shitload of mining rights and cooperation between various landholders and agreement on who's going to foot the bill for what. So for a few days, they didn't do anything but hold meetings and like check and see how toxic the levels of carbon monoxide emanating from the fire were. And in case you're curious, by the way, fun fact, answer, very toxic.
Yeah, it's like living in a loft directly above a constant stream of smoke. That's a rookie mistake.
if only you were old enough to live on your own and spread your wings and fly.
Yeah, to be fair, they can no longer rely on the canary method since they broasted the last one.
So work on the actual excavation wouldn't begin until August 22nd, nearly a month after the fire started. 'Cause
Jesus.
you can't rush into these things. In all, 3 separate major excavation projects would fail to contain the fire. After months of trying, hundreds of thousands of dollars in costs, the state eventually gave up in 1963.
Now, when you say gave up, what exactly does that mean?
It means they adopted a fuck it policy.
Wait. So they just shut down the whole town and emptied out all the people?
No. They just stopped trying to put out the fire underneath it. They left the emptying of the people
Solid plan.
to the deadly levels of carbon monoxide pouring out of the smoldering hellscape. Figured that would be the deterrent.
Well, I guess if Pennsylvania's state government can walk away from this, nobody can fault us for stepping away for a minute. So we'll turn to everybody's favorite mid-episode use of the interstitial music, apropos of nothing.
I say, Frank, that's a hell of a fire you got there.
Tell me about it, Dave. So, you think you can put her out?
Oh, yeah, no problem. Hey, Tony,
What?
come take a look at this fire.
Coming. Oh, heck of a fire here.
Oh, you think it's going to be expensive to put it out?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's going to cost you.
Yeah, what's the situation down there, you think?
Well, pretty much the whole mine's on fire.
Yeah, hold mine.
Whole mine on fire. Let me see. Hey, Larry.
Yeah, what's up?
How much is it going to cost to put out a whole mine on fire?
The whole mine?
The whole mine.
The whole mine.
Yeah, the whole mine.
Oh, a lot. We're going to need like 5 hoses at least, huh?
Shit, 5 hoses.
At least.
All right, so what's that? What are we talking?
I don't know, say $200.
Wow. $200?
Yeah, $200.
Okay. I have a coupon though. Is this still good?
Sure, why not?
Some version of this probably happened.
We're a swing state.
7 hoses tops.
And we're back. When we last left our story, the town of Centralia, Pennsylvania was on fire, and nobody seemed to care all that much. That was in 1963, Eli. When do we pick this story back up?
1979, the year you and Tom became friends.
It's the year I banged your mom. 16 years after they left this fire burning?
Uh-huh. And stupid people lived over it, yeah. Oh, but wait, that all changes in 1979 when mayor / gas station owner, always a good sign, John Coddington notices that the underground tanks of gasoline for the gas station he owns / mayor was really hot. They're 172 degrees Fahrenheit to be exact. That's 77.8 if you're a communist. Thank you very much.
Huh, so weird. It's almost like coal has this crazy propensity to burn. If only we could learn to harness these powers somehow.
Crazy talk. I mean, kudos to the mayor for his reliance on evidence, but why did they think they'd achieved détente with the subterranean hellfire before then?
Dilettante. Did I get it? I got it that time.
No.
They're just having a town meeting. Some guy picks up a handful of dirt and throws a fireball across the room. James Inhofe jumps out, puts it out with a snowball. All right, they balanced out. We're fine. It's just that the climate's always changing. It's always changing.
Inhofe's like, we're not voting on this again. I said new business.
Pardon me, but I think Ryu had the floor.
Cecil, it's pronounced ruh.
No.
No.
Okay, so agree to disagree. So over the next couple of years, residents started to notice more and more effects of the fire. An unusually hot body of water here, a toxic plume of poisonous gas there. But it wasn't until 1981 when the earth literally opened up and swallowed a 12-year-old child that the state realized, hey, maybe we took our eyes off the ball too soon here. Kid survives, by the way. His cousin saved him. But it was a real wake-up call for the community when your child sinks into the earth.
It's a good thing the kid wasn't like atheist or Muslim. If he was, this place ends up being the site of a giant Christian pilgrimage like every year. Holy
the pilgrimage
site.
to the hallowed hallow.
Oh, there you go.
So this was the wake-up call. This is what did it. It takes a portal to hell that eats 6th graders to get their fucking attention. Are we really sure this isn't Flint, Michigan?
No, this kid sunk. He didn't float.
Oh, okay. All right.
different.
Yeah, it's different.
Anyway, by then, it's way too late to do anything about the actual fire, what with the whole decade going by. And apparently there were real arguments in the local government about whether it was such a big deal. A bunch of city council members sitting around bitching about helicopter parents trying to keep their kids out of every single sinkhole. So it took the federal government stepping in to really do something about this.
Who the fuck is arguing that maybe this isn't such a big problem? Really? For fucking real?
We don't bother the fire, and the fire don't bother us. We signed of this here treaty.
But it caught on fire, you see, so...
We wrote another one in asbestos, and that's why Grandpa has cancer.
What if we would reroute Flint, Michigan on top of Centralia, Pennsylvania, like their water source on top of the fire, and just cancel it?
All that lead just melts, and now you've got like
an elephant's foot. Yeah, it'd be good.
Pencil factory. So in 1984, Congress allocated about $42 million to relocate all the people who live there. Now, most residents accepted buyout offers and relocated to the nearby towns of Ashland and Mount Carmel.
Which used to be called Colville and Mount Sugar until they had very similar problems.
Bitch tits! Bitch tits!
Is your plan to say something vile every time there's a pun?
Yes, I am keeping us safe.
That wasn't a pun. That was a chemistry thing.
You're right.
Chemical changes would happen to those two substances.
You're right. That was a really good joke.
Caramel and sugar.
Agree to disagree, Heath. But here's the amazing thing. Some people didn't leave because they were impossibly stupid and deserved to be swallowed by a gaseous bag of poison.
I would relocate if the Starbucks closed early. Like, how the fuck do you go to bed at night knowing you are sleeping on top of a molten disaster? Or really anywhere in Pennsylvania at all, now that I think about that. No,
so in 1992, the governor, Bob Casey, who we don't know whether or not he owned a gas station, made one last effort to get the remaining idiots the fuck out of the town. Which by then, by the way, was literally being used as a stand-in for hell in crappy horror movies. Yeah. So the governor invokes eminent domain on all the property in the borough, condemned all the buildings within it. The remaining residents sue the state to overturn the action, but fail. We want to stay in Firevania.
I don't want to leave. You guys don't understand. This is where I had my first kiss, saw my children grow up, where my first pair of shoes melted walking to the general store for penny candy. Where I saw my first glimpse deep inside the dark, bottomless pit of man's crushing apathy.
I mean, that guy could move to New York. I'm just saying, that guy. In 2002, the U.S. Postal Service discontinued Centralia's zip code.
Yeah. We're just not using that one anymore. No
letters there anymore. No, we said snow or sleet or flight of rain or Pokemon red or blue, whatever our stupid chant is for people for whom high school was hard. But we're not doing Firevania. You guys can come to us. So then in 2009, Governor Ed Rendell begins formally evicting the people that were somehow still there. Again, still there. Even then, handful of people refused to leave. In fact, up until 2011, the town and its 10 remaining residents continue to have regular city council meetings, I assume with lots of coughing, where they discuss who's going to chip in for the city's $92 utility budget. So in October 29th, 2013, the state reached an agreement with the 7 remaining residents, we all know what happened to the last 4, that allows them to stay there until they die if they want to. But when they leave, the state gets to knock their house down. As far as I know, those 7 people still fucking there.
Oh, geez, amazing. They're probably listening to this podcast. You know, they have a Google alert for Centralia. They're sitting there going like, I cannot believe they didn't mention the fucking park renovation. What a bunch of assholes. We did that whole thing.
I like white, don't tell me.
No one ever talks about the good stuff here in Centralia, you know, like our low heating costs and all the money we save on cremation services.
And in a testament to the power of conspiracy theories, following the old adage, where there's smoke, there could be anything, a bunch of them have apparently convinced themselves that the fire itself is a hoax. That's part of the state's. Yeah, it's a hoax fire. What? It's a false fire. Yeah, and then it's part of the state's 5-decade and counting plot to reclaim Centralia's almost entirely worthless mining rights.
Mining rights? Rights to mine the coal that's on fire?
That's right. You gotta go fast.
It's the best coal mine ever. Just like a panicked screaming game of hot potato.
Much like the cops are coming, as mentioned earlier in the episode.
What about the fire itself? What is it doing?
Oh, that would be spreading, Cecil. It currently underlies about 400 acres or 1.6 kilometers and is believed to be spreading on all 4 fronts. Experts suggest that it could keep burning for as many as 250 years.
Yeah. Still confined to Pennsylvania, though, right? So no damage done?
Yeah.
Tom gets it. Tom gets it.
Yeah. Some useful loss of 20 electoral votes or however the fuck did it.
So, Eli, if I went there today, what would I see?
Well, First, you'd see a sign that says, "Warning, danger, underground mine fire. Walking or driving in this area could result in serious injury or death. Dangerous gases are present. Ground is prone to sudden collapse."
Wait. Walking can lead to serious injury, prone to collapse, dangerous gases. Are you sure you aren't just reading from your Med Alert bracelet?
It can be both, Cecil. It can be both. If you kept going after that sign, you'd see, you'd probably see the tunnel of light and the life review that Tom talked about on episode 2, probably.
By the way, I want that sign for my front door. Or just a sign that says warning NDEs, one or the other.
NDE is my rapper name.
NDE is my rapper name. God damn it.
No, NDE is my rapper name.
Anything else?
I'd probably hire a guy named MC Afterlife to be my DJ and hype man.
No, I mean anything else about Centralia?
Ugh, you today. Well, of course, you'd also see smoke. You see, there are metal steam vents throughout the area trying to keep the gases from backing up enough to explode. Of course, not all the smoke is on purpose. That would be crazy. There are also random cracks in the ground where little amounts of carbon monoxide just come pouring out all on their own.
It feels like they're already like half a coal plant, this town. So we just build a giant steam turbine like over the top and we're all set, right?
Problem solver.
Exactly.
Yeah, it took us 8 episodes to solve the energy crisis. You're welcome, Earth.
And the Flint water crisis. It's all 3 are set.
But to be fair, I bet that garbage fire from earlier all settled now. Just bulldoze a lot of it into the portal to hell you created. What could go wrong more? What more could go wrong? But to answer your question, Cecil, if you survived past all that, you'd basically see an empty field with a lot of paved roads in it. Almost all the buildings have been demolished or fell down on their own at this point. There are a few things still standing, of course. 5 family homes for those 7 people. And while the city doesn't have a courthouse or a post office or a school or enough people to field a softball team, it does have one public service. Do you want to guess what that is? It would be a volunteer fire department.
Jesus Christ.
What the fuck else is there left to catch on fire there? Is it the world's only ironic fire department?
You got to stay till the ship sinks when you,
So if you had to summarize what you learned here in one sentence, what would it be?
A large percentage of this podcast is going to be us making jokes about people getting what they deserve.
Jesus.
It's true.
Right.
It's true.
Yes.
yeah.
All right. Well, clearly you thoroughly perused 1 full Wikipedia article.
Hey, 2. I also didn't know how many people were on a softball team. First I wrote basketball, but it turns out that's only 5.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Team has more than 5
okay.
channels.
So an expertise in multiple fields then. So I suppose you're ready to face a trial of trivia from our panel of experts.
I've never been more ready.
That's not the same as saying yes, but I'll start us off here. Which of the following is not listed as a reason to visit bullet point on the Centralia, Pennsylvania tourist website? A, spontaneous extreme exfoliation in our outdoor saunas. B, no long lines. C, 2 out of 3 terrors of the fire swamp. There you go. I was proud of that one. D, even the FBI probably won't find it out here.
That's a good one.
Or E, and this one has a hyperlink. See this Netflix series for an additional 13 reasons.
Ooh, I'm going to go with E. I don't think anyone in that town watches that show.
Sure, why not? That is correct, sir.
You're getting a tape, Cecil.
Centralia gets a bad rap. So they're trying a little rebranding these days, which is being floated as their new town motto. A, Centralia, if you lived here, you'd be Satan by now. B, Centralia, a nice place to leave. C, come to Centralia, now the second worst town in Pennsylvania. Or D, Centralia, home of Pennsylvania's hottest women.
Very obviously C. Anyone who knows, you drive 6 hours not to go to Philadelphia.
That is correct.
Well, Eli, there have been several attempts to put out the fires in that hot hole. Which one was the most successful? A, inviting it to the local hobby store for a Magic the Gathering tournament.
That would work.
B, saying you were going to come to bed right after the hockey game. C, ironically, getting it wet. Or D,
Never tried that. I've never tried that.
Or D, mansplaining.
All right. I'm going to go with saying you were to come to bed right after the hockey game because it's a trick question. Pennsylvania women don't have any teeth anyway, so they don't mind hockey.
You're right. It was a trick question. You're too clever for this.
All right, last one for you, Eli. Which of the following is the best epitaph for a person who died in Centralia, Pennsylvania? Is it A, I should have noticed all the dead canaries littering the sidewalks? Is it B, I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, down, down as the flames were rising higher. Burn, 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 ring of fire. Or is it C, we didn't start the fire. No, we didn't light it, but we tried to fight it. Or finally, is it D, okay, we did light it. My entire town is fucking stupid.
I'm going to go with D. D.
Correct. It's D. The entire town is fucking stupid. That should be the takeaway for this whole episode.
Exactly. Well, it looks like once again, nobody managed to stump our expert. It's almost like this is all bullshit and there's some sort of pattern here. Anyway, Eli, you're this week's winner, which means you'll be taking over as host next week, and you'll get to pick who has to do all the reading and the summarizing.
I'm going to go with eighth best friend and pants rapist Heath Henry. Only eighth.
And of course, also included in your victory gift bag is getting to read the answer to last week's Twitter question, which was, the impeachment has come down and the famous Trump tapes are finally released. What's the quote we're least likely to hear? And the answer, Eli, was?
And the winner was at PBR_misfit, who said, what we won't find on Trump's impeachment tapes, him phonetically reading the Constitution. Good job at PBR_misfit.
I feel like you could have just stopped at phonetically reading, but it was good. But it was good.
I think you can get rid of the modifier, just say reading.
And what question do you have for Twitter this week?
So here's the question. You've been appointed Centralia's now mayor, and it's your job to create a spiffy new PSA to convince its remaining residents to leave. What's the PSA?
Wait, I'm sorry. Do you have a gas station in this example? Do you own a gas station?
Certainly.
Okay,
Almost
right.
Certainly. I need to breathe something out of a bag. And if you'd like us to read your answer, retweet the episode from our Twitter or share it from our Facebook with your answer, and we might just read it on next week's show, preserving you in infinity.
All right. Well, for Tom, Keith, Noah, and Eli, I'm Cecil, thanking you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week, and by then, Heath will be an expert on something else. If you'd like to hear more from us between now and then, you can hear Noah, Heath, and Eli on The Scathing Atheist, God-Awful Movies, and The Skeptocrat, and you can hear Tom and I on the Cognitive Dissonance Podcast. If you'd like to help keep this show going, you can make a per-episode donation on patreon.com/citationpod. You could head on over to citationpod.com to get in touch with us, find our social media, and check out the show notes. If you want to help the show, please rate us on your favorite podcast provider and tell all your friends about the show. But ease them in. Don't tell them everything at once.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/getstarted. That's GREENLIGHT.com/getstarted.